Let's get to Clemson. Number 23, Clemson beats Virginia Tech 24-14. This was such a weird game. It was a very weird first half. Clemson did not score in the first half. They're down 7-0 at the half. The only points scored in the entire first half were off the blocked field goal, which Clemson's special teams are just sad. They're just so bad. But we can get to that too, Mac. Doesn't really seem to be the story because the offense figured it out. Cade Klubnik came back after a really tough first half and made some absurd plays in the second half, like just crazy. Phil Maffa, as we have said, always the most consistent member of this team, still did what he needed to do. Some of the receivers stepped up. The defense, though, Mac, now Virginia Tech in a lot of ways is a little bit of a shell of themselves. Their injuries are a big problem. Drones is not healthy. Tootin is not healthy. And so you're going with backups, you're going with different guys. But this was the best performance by far by the Clemson defense. What were your thoughts here, Mac?
Yeah, it really was. And it was a tale of two halves. It was a game of two halves where, I'm sitting here watching and it's painful. Like it hurts offensively, side to side stuff, not executing, silly plays, silly decisions, kicking a field goal and it gets blocked again. The most blocked field goal and extra points combined in the country. And it kills me. It really does. It physically hurts me. Not being able to punt the ball super effectively. Just all of it. It's snowballing up. With that, the defense played well. The defense was getting after it. Tackles for loss, containing the run. Thought they did an excellent job at that. Held Virginia Tech to 1 yard a rush, 1 and some change. Was brilliant to see. Really, really good job, especially with all the chatter, all the talk, Wes Goodwin, people calling him out and all these different things, players not executing at a high level. I thought they played very, very well. And we'll get into some individuals in a second too. But and actually, let me say this real quick too, because this happened a couple of times in the Clemson game. It happened all across college football all week. Quarterbacks, lock in. Come here. Look at me. Let me take my glasses off.
Oh.
If you are running and you're close to the sideline, if you throw the ball and it goes out of bounds past the line of scrimmage, nothing bad happens. It is a no-loss play. If you run out of bounds 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, it is now 2nd and 15, and it's a sack. Stop. Please stop. It kills me. KG,
Are you thinking for O-linemen everywhere? Because it counts as a sack?
I'm talking for everybody. I mean, it's crazy. It puts you in terrible positions. Just throw it away. It's not hard. Yeah. Throw it away. Get it to the line of scrimmage. All right, anyway. Second half, totally different team offensively. Yeah. Cade looked great, distributing the ball. Phil Maffa, steady Eddie as it comes. I mean, just a horse, a guy that you can give the ball, does his thing. There were some weird drops. There were some weird things throughout. Yeah. Guys I didn't think Bryant Wesco got great separation. I also thought Cade overthrew him a couple of times. TJ Moore stood up. Antonio Williams at times stood up. Cole Turner, great catch. And big shout out to Briningstool, becoming the all-time leading pass catcher tight end in Clemson history. That's pretty remarkable when you look at the guys that Clemson has had. Mm-hmm. So great second half, great recovery. Yeah, I'm just going to imagine the second half was the only thing that happened in this game.
Yeah, it felt like if you combine the Louisville game and the first half of this game, you almost think that it's 2023, with how bad that this team looked in that span. But then the second half happens and you feel a lot better. And it just feels like maybe this was a slump, a situation that Clemson had to play itself out of and work itself out of. I will say this, Mac, the defense looked a lot better, like we said. I think Virginia Tech has got some issues, especially with the fact that they're so injured. They couldn't do anything, really. I mean, they scored 7 points as an offense, and that was when Schlee, the backup, came in, who I kind of like. I think he's going to be pretty good.
Sling it.
Yeah, and then you had the 7 points off the blocked field goal. So I guess my question is, how much can we take from this defensive performance? I mean, Sammy Brown stood up. That was huge. Ashton Hampton's pick was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. But should we get too excited about it is kind of my question.
Well, I think you get excited about Sammy Brown starting. That was his first start. And he leading tackler, sack, 2 tackles for loss. TJ
Monster.
Parker played fantastic. It was good to see him again. Had a tackle for loss, maybe had a sack too. And Clemson did what they did without two of their best players on the
Yeah,
defensive
without
line.
Peter
So,
Woods.
Clemson's banged up as well. And I saw something where Coach Sweeney said Clemson was down like 8 starters. I don't know if that's offense and defense combined. I think it is. When you look at the handful of defensive tackles, a couple of DBs, left tackle, which I got to give him credit. This dude comes in as a true freshman on the road in Lane Stadium and balls. KG, you need to go back and watch this. He had a great game. That dude's going to be exceptional for Clemson at the left tackle position. But anyway, so a lot of young guys had to play. So I think so. I mean, I would have liked to, just a couple of other little things. Like there was a couple of big plays that happened that you're like, you wish you would have seen guys get their hands on it. They had a couple of explosives like 20, 23, 22, 30-yard explosive pass plays that you would have liked to see a little bit more competitive. Just a handful of times. Again, I thought this was Clemson's best defensive performance by far, but a couple of times guys out of position that led to, some of those big plays. So I think so. I think you get excited about it. I think this can certainly translate this week in Pittsburgh to, again, another struggling offense that can't really find their way.
Yeah.